Hey YouTube, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. News and views, views on the news. And some of the things and some of the growth patterns that I had as a result of the research and everything that I've done, right? And so when I first started doing videos and I started looking into things, certain things I came out on and really didn't look behind uh, certain issues and things that brothers brought up because we were dealing with major things. And I knew I would get around to them as things fell into place. I remember that there was a big roll up with Janet Hubert. Y'all may know her as Aunt Viv from the Fresh Prince. And why she got no love, there was a reason for it. Now, before I get started, let me shout out and say Hola Guda Oi to the Bang, Bosses Lows, Bonjour Ms. Mikeru, Bawani, Konnichiwa, Ni Hao Ni Hama, Sani Bonani, Jumbo Habaragani, Assalamu Alaikum and Shalom. Right? In this video, there was a brother, Irritated Genie, and he had to deal with one of these Black Lives Matter people that came into one of his meetings or gatherings and stuff. And I wanted you to see how that got dealt with, how he dealt with it. And this is something that we as black men should learn to do. When something comes into our path that is not right and is not about what we do, we need to get it out of there. This is how we're supposed to deal with all unrighteousness that these women bring up in our noses. The reason why it's so difficult to deal with is that black men are accustomed to giving women a pass like we did back in the garden, and the white man knows this. Now, why didn't Janet Hubert, Aunt Viv of the Fresh Prince, why don't she get no love from black men? Because she's married to that white man right there. Married him in 2005. And so a lot of these black women see marrying these old white men as a step up is because the thing that matters to them is money and getting a leg up in the business. But the problem with that is when you're a dark skinned woman in Hollywood, they only have a few roles for them. You understand? And they're going to be kind of slave kind of roles and stuff. Only one woman is doing well with multiple different kind of roles. One dark skinned woman. And like in Highlander, in Hollywood, there could be only one. Right? One comedian, one dark skinned woman, one female rapper, just one. No variety, just one. Why don't they want variety? Variety causes one to think, causes one to see differences, causes one to appreciate different points of view of, say, like the same situations. No, Hollywood wanted to get rid of that. Now, that's Janet Hubert. But this is going to deal with mainly, this is going to be mainly how to deal with that Black Lives Matter BS. This was an older video that I did, but these are some of the growths that I had. I started looking into all the black women's background because who they decide to align themselves with says something about their mentality, their spirituality, and what they think of black people in regards to what they think of themselves. So when she got fired from the Fresh Prince and there was no love and she wasn't getting love from black people, This was why. Because she was no longer black. Yeah, she appeared that way on the outside, but you are who you align yourself with. All right. I was a soldier when I was in the army. I got a medical retirement. Now I'm retired. I'm still a vet. So it's easier for me to align myself with vets because I know what we've been through, right? I align myself with black people because I know what it is. You don't see me running to the white community trying to get in where I fit in. Why? Because I don't fit in. That's why a lot of black dudes that do that end up in a bad way. I stay in a I stay in the black community. If I get somebody from out of any community, if I find a woman in any community, she's coming where I am, where I can protect. And us brothers are on point on that. Now, let's get into the Black Lives Matter part of it. Brothers, brothers, understand this. This is how we should deal with these suckers, right? There is a black woman bias against black men pointing out the truth because they love lies. The black community is being sold down the river by black women and any movement that they come up with where they are in the lead. That should let you know right off the bat that something's wrong with that movement. Black women are the new Sambos. You know, the ones that whip black men into shape. Except the whip that they do is the P whip and the mind F. Yep, they F up your mind and they try to P whip you. And for P whip, y'all know what that is. That whip appeal, that baby face whip appeal. There is no whip appeal. They're worn out. They don't got it. And regular sex just don't get it. They just don't have it anymore. Cause sex come dime a dozen for them, but no real love making. They're not capable of that. Is you do work. The dude do the work. He go put it in, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and he out. They don't know how to please a man anymore because they too busy pleasing other women. All right, so they're garbage. They have no worth anymore. They have lost their worth. If you can't produce children as a black woman, then you have lost your worth. If you waited too old to give a good man children, then you have lost your worth. And black women are not understanding that. They have lost their worth. Oh, I want to help you do this, clean up. No, I could do that by myself. You lost your worth when you given up the purpose that the Most High created you for the man. So now you're worthless to a man. I could hire a maid to clean, get the children to clean. Well, I could come keep you. I could come one. No, you can't do anything. If you couldn't be a woman for me, then you can't be nothing for me, because you have lost your worth. Black women don't understand it. Now, getting into this Black Lives Matter stuff. Okay, ever wonder what the real agenda of the Black Lives Matter movement is? All right. I say it's the destruction of the black community from the inside. You got all these abortions. You got the women that were up in an uproar over thugs, but never at the plight of what was happening to good men, all before thugs were losing their lives to police in the midst of some kind of criminal activity, right? Now, they should not have lost their lives. And we should have done something about it. But this movement is disingenuous. I always thought it was. But then I was listening to a brother, you know, and he kind of exposed them for who they are. Before we get into my little clip, let me remind you to get those thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, and my donation link will be in the description box along with my email. All right.
does the word queer mean to you?
Queer is, to me, is an umbrella term that incorporates folks who are outside of the heterosexual norm and the what we call heteronormativity, which is a big word for relationships. Marriage is just between a man and a woman. It's the patriarchal family as we understand it. What's important to us in Black Lives Matter is that we are elevating and cultivating the leadership of folks who have not been included in the conversation. That includes Black trans women, that includes Black immigrant women, Black disabled folks, Black incarcerated and formerly incarcerated people. So to us, right, we're really trying to queer our movement. We know even in our tradition and our legacy of Black liberation that queer and trans folks have been in the leadership, however, have had to kind of cut pieces of themselves off because it wasn't acceptable. Baird Rustin being an incredible example of that. Audre Lorde being an incredible example of that, right? We want to create a different kind of movement culture. We think it's important, we think we need it, and we don't think that we can survive without it.
So I hear that and I think, fantastic, the more the better.
What we have today is a situation where every one of our young people are under siege because now whites are paying for the new Uncle Tom that you were talking about before. Who is the new Uncle Tom of our time? The pedophile and the homosexual, who whites are paying to violate our sons and violate our daughters and pull them into cultural degeneracy to destroy Black families. When a Black female is so confused that she doesn't know that the proper mate is a Black male, you don't have to worry about a revolution. You don't even have a family to produce a child to even have a revolution. So what we have right now is a state of emergency.
All right. So we have a state of emergency. That dude, his name was the Irritated Genie. The video was the two videos that I have on here is compliment of the Irritated Genie. You all need to go if there was ever okay. I point out some people, for you to watch. But if there was ever a person, ever a channel, um, in reference to, I don't care what your religion is. He's an Egyptologist and stuff like that. I don't give a hoot. The truth is the truth, no matter who's putting it out. The Muslim lady I put on, she was Muslim. I don't care. Y'all pretty much know I'm an Israelite. I don't care who they are. The truth is the truth, no matter who's putting it out. And this dude is putting out mad truth, and he does research too. Y'all need to go listen to his channel, Irritated Genie. I have his spelling at the end of this, right? But I want you to note something. Go in here and copy down notes and points that this woman made about this thing. At no point did she say that the Black Lives Matter movement was about men or the Black family. She kept saying queer women, trans women, gay women. All right. This movement isn't even about the Black family or the Black men. This is to uplift queer, gay, women as the new head of the Black community. Understand this so they can destroy it without. Remember, I said that Black women have killed single it with their own hand. They have killed more Black people than all the other things that kill Black people combined. That's heart disease, cancer, HIV, Black on Black crime. They have killed more Black people, have killed more of the Black community, have prevented the multiplication of more of the Black community than everything else combined. Who's funding them? White men. The seed money for Black Lives Matter came from George Soros. Now, understand this, people. Understand this. I did a video of why Black lives don't matter, and we follow the money. All right? And I said black lives didn't matter to black men. I said it wasn't about the black family. All right, I'm skipping through. And so they are now starting to show their hand. These women ain't about nothing but women and white men. That's right. Anytime a movement is led by any black woman, you need to look at it side eye. Black women are again in bed with white men. And if black women are in bed with white men, then it cannot be good for the black community or the black family. And it damn sure cannot be good for the black man, the good black man. This thing started not because they were protesting things that were happening to good black men. Actually, there wasn't anything really happening to good black men. We protest how it's more difficult to get a job or something like this, but they were protesting thugs. Thugs. Why were you protesting the people that were doing the most harm to the black community and not standing behind the men, not even being with a good black man? These women aren't being with good black men. They don't want to be with good black men. They go with the thugs and the gays and stuff like that. It's because they love the destruction. They figured the destruction in the black community, if they get rid of the good black men, then these ratchet black women can be in charge. And who are they going to be in charge of? The thugs who are in and out of jail, so they can't do crap. And the gays who lost all of their manhood. Oh, y'all see a picture developing?
The FBI did not send it. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. You said hard to say, right?
Start right there. Let me start there because I got what I see. I watched this night. What I am, as I say, I'm excited to see the second version of this update. And I don't mean it because I like this one, but a lot of things that where you talk about bringing up the symptom and not saying the full problem. And so there's a lot of issues like what she was talking about, like when I was, I'm young, but I'm considered, an 80s baby. I grew up in the 90s and the 80s. And it's true, when I was coming up, it was mostly sexualization, like the rap videos, boys and girls having sex. You see, especially, girls pregnant in junior high school. That relates to why now, these kids now, their parents, what are their parents doing? When you had a 14-year-old mother, and now you're 14 years old, your mother's only 28. Well, what kind of mother are you going to get? And not to mention, is the father there? We talk about the community. That's an issue as well as, well, you got this 14-year-old girl as her mother, but her mother's a single mom, and her attitude can be very adversarial. It can be, hey, I was a single mom, I made it, so you got to make it as a single mom. I'm not going to help you. No, you need to struggle how I struggle. Because I struggled. I was 14 when I first started having kids. Now you're dumb and you're 14, so now you got to struggle because I did. You don't see the uncles coming out to be supportive to help this young sister raise her sons. And so, especially when you bring up subjects like homosexuality and the homosexualization, the effeminization of the black male, there's a lot of social and chemical elements that, that are discussed, I hope to see. Because you look at chemically, atrazine being put in our water. They put chemicals in the water that have been shown to induce homosexualization. That's a huge element because you look at then the blacklisting, blacklining of where black people can live. They force black people to live in certain communities, then they deplete the resources in those communities, and they affect those resources, they affect the foods that come in, and that can chemically induce homosexuality. As well as a young boy being raised by a single mom, there's certain feminizations that's going to happen because you got a single mama raising you. She got, when you got to go to the bathroom in public, she has to take you to the women's room with her. Because where else can she take you? She can't take you to the men's room. When she's going to go out shopping, she's got to take you with her. So you're going with her bra shopping, you're going with her panty shopping, you're going with her when she's getting her feminine clothes, feminine outfits. You start trying on the shoes that are there. And there's a lot more that's going on that reflects on this. And I see that, I want to see that as being part of this discussion. Because we got to realize that, as was mentioned, this was started decades ago. It started, when you start bringing crack in the communities, you get mothers or, fathers and fathers, families breaking up, single parenthood and young sexualization of our women back in the 80s. You have young girls getting sexualized, having kids younger, and that's where generation for generation, seeing between when my mom was coming up, you could hear it in DC in the 60s and '70s, and that black family unit was a much stronger family unit. And that's where you see that the war on drugs can kind of come in, and it's, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of elements, and so I'm happy for this. I'm happy this is here, and this is a brand excellent place to start. I want to see as we take these videos and move on, and as we as a community come together and address all of these with a place of, I think though, I just want to see acceptance of it though. I just want to see a little more understanding that some of these boys and girls are victims of a large system as a whole. And
you said you want to see acceptance?
I personally think straight
What does
black
acceptance mean?
You can accept. You don't have to say that you're going to promote it. You're okay with it, in a sense, but not.
We're not going to accept it.
Against it.
We're against it.
I understand you are against it.
Okay, we're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept anybody who accepts it.
What are you trying to get them to accept, Jack?
Homosexuality.
Not necessarily just saying. It doesn't just saying accepting homosexuality.
Not just accepting homosexuality.
No, I'm not.
So accepting homosexuality and what else?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that accepting the full system, the full everything that's happened to everybody, and seeing.
What's the system? I don't think.
Wait. Straight black pride. Do we accept crack dealers in our community?
No, sir.
Are we going to accept homosexuality in our community?
No, sir.
Are we going to accept pedophiles in our community?
No, sir.
So your interests here are no longer useful, sister. So what do you want to do? We can stop. You can stop. Lady, you can stop right here. Well, you might be misinterpreted, but you got a choice. You can stop.
I'm here as
Go ahead.
Can I say something? You get her up.
But no, don't get the name. You gonna say nothing until she leaves, then we can talk. We talk about family. Yeah, we all know that. Let me just stop, because this is what I want to do.
This guy's folks.
Yeah, you know. This is the thing. I want to say before I do it. I know some people are like, I didn't know if that right. This is what happens. The homosexuals send in planes to disrupt and take us off of what we're talking about. So we have a whole list of videos that goes into everything she was talking about the feminization of the black male. We have racism. Everything she's talking about already exists in terms of that. What we did here, and I'm kind of glad that happened, because we got to understand something. First of all, if you were listening to it from the very beginning, it was obvious where she was going, but she might not have heard it.
Yeah, that's right.
But you don't want to jump out in front, because other brothers and sisters might not know where it's going. So you got to be patient and wait for them to expose themselves.
Exposure. All right. Dang. So, are y'all really seeing the objective of this? Now, when I looked and see what the Black Lives and the leader of the Black Lives Matter was doing, everything was about the women's network, the women's this, the women's that, the women's the whatever, right? So the real objective for the Black Lives Matter movement is things that black women desire. And what everything that black women desire as a collective group is downright destructive to the black community and evil. And I will say it again, evil. That everything that black women desire is downright destructive to the black community and evil. Black lives really don't matter. The only lives that matter is leverage that black women want to have against good men. And they want to destroy the good men, because in order for a demon to take charge of anything, you have to bind the strong man. You understand? I know y'all that read, understand. You can't take over a home or a house until you bind the strong man. Here's my final thoughts. Black men need to band together and fight this mess. Period. We don't need to take mess off of females, and black women should not be a part of this fight. Black women should do what women need to do. Black men We need to fight this, and we don't need the black women in our ranks trying to help us fight this mess. And yes, our biggest enemy is not the white man. Understand this. Our biggest enemy is not the white man. If the white men knew what they unleashed, they would stop it. It's because everything that everybody does, they copy after the black people in the United States. Hip hop, here than everywhere else in the world. Rap, here and everywhere else in the world. The way we do music, here and everywhere else in the world. Breakdancing, pop locking, waving, dubstepping, here than everywhere else in the world. All right. The most popular guys right now in dance called Les Twins, right? But they're just a copy of what started here. They have contests in China, dance contests in China, but it started with us, the black people. All these movies, these dance movies that come out with street dancing, hip hop dancing, they stole that from us. They put a white face on it. You seen the commercial, the AT&T commercial with the white dude dubstepping? They couldn't find a black dude, so the white people go learn our stuff so that the white media could put the white people in it and act like the stuff came from them. It always starts here. Well, so does evil. Oh, and these black women, they're going to try to destroy the black men first, and then they're going to destroy the rest of the country. Why? It's because we're the only things that can keep them in check. And just like old dude there, we need to eliminate them from everything that we talk about when we're trying to develop strategy for dealing with the mess that they are bringing about in our community. We need to not do it ever in the presence of black women. We need to get rid of them out of all of our organizations, everything. And black men, and I'm talking about organizations that deal with the issues and the problems of the community. We need to get rid of them. They should have no part in any of our organizations that deal with the problem. Now, when we're talking about family, we need to do that together. But when we're talking about fighting the system that is corrupting the family, we need to get rid of the women because they cannot help at all. They're only concerned in their own interests. Now, when we talk about running a house, yes, we need everybody. All right? But we need to leave black women the F alone when it comes to talking and dealing with black issues within the black community, because they could care less about the black community. And this movement proves it. With that said, I'm out.
You know what it is to continue with my final thought. Let the vinyl thoughts, the BAWs, keep hitting that wall, the wall of justice, right? Afro men, explore your options. Remember, the modern day black woman is not the best option for us right now. With that said, I'm out.